Hello everybody, this is Tondi back with Molly Mine Embroidery Designs, and today we're going to work on the brand new stocking. This is the new Flip and Sew style of an In the Hoop project, and I am going to show you step by step how to do the whole thing with the back, and it's fully lined, no seams showing. So I'm going to get us started. I'm going to turn this camera around and show you how to add the name on my machine, and maybe yours will be similar. This is where I'm going to show y'all how to add a name for those people who don't understand that yet. This is our edit mode. When we get ready to sew, we go to embroidery mode. Hopefully your machine will look similar. I'm going to choose add. I'm going to go to my fonts, and I'm probably going to stick with number 5. I like that one. And I'm going to type in my name. And as you can see, it sticks it in the middle, and I've got to move that. And then I need to change the size a little bit. I hope y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to hold the phone with one hand and work with the other one. There you are. I think I need to scoot it back down a little bit. Okay, once you get your name where you like, go to embroidery. Okay, y'all, we have our name. I'm ready to do step 1. I'm going to spin around. Hope you don't get dizzy. This is my plug for you to get your PDF files opened and pay attention as you go along. In case you are all not in the habit of doing that, it helps. Believe me, I've skipped them sometimes before too, and we make mistakes when we do that. So, step number 1, there's the outline. Make sure that matches, oh, sorry, dizziness. Make sure that matches what you see on your screen. For me, yes it does. So, I'm in my embroidery mode, foot down, and away we go. Okay, step number 1, sewed out. Step number 2, placement for your first fabric. This is the only piece that is not stitch and flip. Mine is quite a lot larger. It's covering the area where it belongs. And away we go. As you can see, I have my fabric trimmed, and I am beginning the stitch out of my candy cane. So we are going to stitch the design into this piece of fabric and then start at the next step where we'll do stitch and flip. Okay folks, as you can see, the candy cane is finished sewing out. We are at step number 9, which is applique material. And in step number 9 on the PDF file, she has a picture for us and tells us to put your fabric face down, and this is what she means. If I can do it with one hand. I got a loose thread under there from the other piece. Now, this piece of material has to be big enough to fold over this hole and cover it. So, first thing we're going to do So I can see right this minute that my thread didn't catch right there. So I'm going to back my machine up. So this is where you guys get to see a mistake. Backed it right back up to the same step that we just did. And it's going to start over, and hopefully it'll catch this time. I think that's better. Yes, that's better. Okay, now, step number 10 on my screen looks like this. Now what that means is you're going to fold this over. Hopefully you'll have two hands instead of one. I usually just finger press my seam, but I usually have two hands to do it. So I need a video assistant. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this. You can put some tape on it if it makes you feel better. Okay, now I'm going to show you where to trim and where not to trim. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is show you the mistake that I made that some of you have probably already caught. Because I'm so used to doing old style applique, guess what? I trimmed all the way around on the first piece. Wasn't supposed to in my original stocking. I paid attention to the instructions, but this one I wasn't. I needed to have left the piece here and here. That's for your seam allowance. But I'm going to go ahead with this stocking because it's just for my dog. And I'm going to skip some of the picture steps anyway so that I can show you all the final steps. But right here, this is now tacked down. You want to trim only this in here, leaving all of your outer seam allowance there for when you add your backing. So the next step is going to be decorative, okay? So now what we're going to do, I am going to skip my decorative stitches because I want to hurry through this stocking so you guys can see all of the difficult steps at the end, or the steps that everybody thinks is difficult. But I'm going to just go to the stitch and flip, and I'm going to get all my fabrics down. You will, each time you flip one, your next step will be to add your decorative stitch. And then you will add another piece of fabric, and then you will do decorative stitches on that, and so on and so forth. So when I come back, I will have all of my fabrics down and I will be getting ready to do the name. Okay, everybody, so I have just done some of the decorative stitches because I'm just doing this for my dog. So I scooted my steps forward, picked out my baby because it's at the end, and now I've backed it up and we're getting ready to do this. Okay, as y'all can see, I have done some of the decorative stitches, but not all of the pictures because I wanted to save time. And I am now to step 45, which is just going to sew a little line up there. So let me thread my machine and I'll sew it, then we'll be back. Okay, now that my machine is threaded, we're going to let this stitch sew out. And you can see it's just going to sew a placement stitch. That placement stitch is where we're going to put the ribbon. Okay, so as her pictures describe, let me see if I can do this without cutting my video off. As her pictures describe, you're going to put your ribbon, however long you want, and you're going to want it to be like this. Okay, so stitch number 45 was a placement stitch. Stitch number 46 actually tacks down the ribbon. You need to have it pointing up. Now we're going to fold it down like this, and then I'm going to tape it in place. Let's see if I can do this. I want it way down here out of my way. So, see how I did that? I just folded it over and taped it. And now I'm going to get ready to show you 47. Okay, so 47, it tells you, is a placement stitch. I don't know if you can see it, it's just two little dots. But let me show you what it looks like. Making sure it doesn't get my ribbon. Two little bitty placement stitches, one there and one on the other side. Okay, so this is right here where everybody's confused. They don't know what to do with those placement stitches. Okay, my backing piece is this. Let me lay it out over here on my cutting table. I have one long piece folded in half. So, see how long my piece is? Because I've got the big hoop. Okay, so I've ironed it. I folded in half, long ways, and I creased the fold. Now, that placement stitch is where the fold is going to go. So, me with one hand, see if I can get this placed. All right, so that means your fold is going to go on that stitch. See the stitch right there? Your fold is going to line up each side with your little stitch. You're going to put it right up to that stitch. I'm going to adjust mine with both hands here in a minute. Now you'll want to straighten it all out and make sure that it's all flat. Well, I can't. There we go. We'll zoom back out. Once you get that done, it's going to do a stitch around. It's going to leave an opening right here, and it's not going to stitch across the top because this is where your stocking is going to open. It is going to stitch down the side and leave an opening, and up. That's all it's going to stitch. So I am going to get mine set flat, and I'm going to run that outline stitch so you can see that. I'm going to let you see it's already stitched the first piece up there, and it's going to finish going. It just left the hole. I did not use any batting, so mine is pretty flat and easy to work with. The first stocking I made, I used batting, and it's going to require more hands and a lot more care to keep it down. Okay, so the next step is your lining, and I am going to stop for a minute so that I can get a hold. I'm going to use the same lining right here that I used for my backing. Again, I'm not trying to be pretty, y'all. This is just for my dog so I can give y'all an example. But the lining, I think it went face down. Let's go look at the instructions. I think it goes face down on here. And it's going to cover the whole thing. So let's look at these instructions. Yep, face down. Okay, thought so. All right, so lining is going to cover the whole thing. Hope I cut mine big enough. I think I did. You want it to cover the entire outline. Even the fold. Okay, see that? See how there's the little gap? This was what she was trying to show y'all in the picture. From the outline to the fold, there's a little gap. It doesn't sew that. That's where your stocking opens at the top. But we're going to put the lining over all of it. Okay, here's the lining. Down over the whole thing. Now, yep, all covered. All right, now we're going to do step number 49. If you see in 50 on mine, it's the name, but we've already done that. Okay, foot down, hit go. Thread might have broke. Yep, my thread broke, y'all. Pause. There we go. My thread, y'all. I'm trying to use up old thread, so it's my thread gets caught easily on places like where there's a ribbon. When I do scrappy projects like this, especially for teaching, and I'm not trying to do it for a pretty gift or a forever thing, I use up old scraps of material that are probably no good anymore. Like this one is old, and old thread, so I can use it up. So So we're gonna let this finish stitching out, and then I will show you how to trim and flip. Okay folks, this is completely finished. So I am going to take this out of the hoop and then trim everything around it, except I'm gonna leave a seam allowance, so I'll show you. Okay, so I have everything trimmed, and now we're just going to flip it inside out. That's a lot of fun, isn't it? So we have a hole there for flipping. Once you have it flipped inside out, you can give it a press and you'll be finished. So I'm gonna flip mine and then we'll be back. Okay, y'all, so you see once I've got it flipped and I got my hole closed over here, I did that by flipping it inside out and then I closed it. But now you have a fully lined stocking, and it's got a ribbon holder on it that points up, not down, if you follow her directions, and I just need to go press it and we're finished. I hope that helps everybody as you get to step 47, 48, 49. I know it sounds confusing, but it really is pretty simple to just have your folded back and put it on there. Now remember, if you want batting in there, you have to insert batting where she tells you, but it's my first one I used batting and it was harder to work with. This one was so much easier to work with without batting. So it's just up to you what look you want. Anyway, y'all, almost Merry Christmas already. Bye-bye.